Hello and welcome to another edition of Banana Island Living podcast. I'm really, really happy to have my guest today. We've tried so many times to arrange this meeting, and somehow the last time was quite interesting, wasn't it?
It was.
Jess was on his way to see me when, no, we're not going to go into that. It was literally quite dramatic. But yeah, I'm so thrilled to have Jess Castellote here with me today. But before I introduce him, before I give you the pleasure, can you make sure you subscribe, like, send to a friend? But stay tuned. Hello, Jess.
Hi, Sade. Good to be here with you.
No, I'm so thrilled that you made it. Jess is, a legend in his own lifetime in the art scene and in architecture in Nigeria. You came here in 1984?
Yes, 40 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, tell me a little bit. You tell us what you would like us to know about Jess. I'm not going to give you a backstory. You tell us.
I came as a young, inexperienced architect. I was invited to come to help with an NGO building really small medical dispensary.
Wow.
Near Ijibode.
Oh, wow.
It was...
was it a volunteer job?
It was a volunteer job.
Wow.
There was no pay, but they took care of me. And I enjoyed it. I learned.
What did you learn?
I learned
how to function in this environment.
You can always learn from people.
Yes.
From everybody. And meeting different people. People with different concerns, different ideas, different backgrounds.
How old were you when you came?
20-something.
Oh, my goodness.
I worked for a short period in Spain.
Yeah.
And then I came, perhaps with ideas that were too ambitious or too big, thinking that I could change the world.
Didn't we all, as a young person?
Well, here I am, 40 years later.
Wow. No, it's fascinating. I mean, I first heard about you when you were curating Prince Shyllon's collection, or I think...
Probably as... I don't remember when it was, but helping yes,
him to organize his
with other collectors. I have been in touch with collectors for a long time.
Which is an interesting segue into your book. That book, I just bought it and I gave it to a friend on Tuesday. The Nigerian Art in Private Collection. You've done 4 books? You've made 4 books?
5. Now
wow.
We are about to publish the 6th. We have already signed an agreement with the publisher.
Oh, fantastic.
The first one...
What was your first book?
Was this one on Nigerian art in Lagos Private Collection.
Right.
And it was not a planned book.
Right.
It just came out of my contact with collectors. Mm-hmm. For years I lived in Ibadan. Then I moved down to Lagos, 1994.
Wow.
And I used to go, and I still go, to exhibitions quite regularly and meet collectors at auctions, gatherings.
How did you get into Nigerian art from coming as an architect? What was that moment where you said, gosh,
well,
this is where I want to do it?
I've been going to exhibitions and following... Spanish art.
In Spain.
I studied in Valencia.
Yeah.
And I lived there after that. And I used to go regularly to exhibitions, meet people, even when I was a student. So it wasn't a new thing. When I came here, first in Lagos, where I lived for a short period, not for long, for a year and a half. Then when I moved to Ibadan, there I was, the interest was rekindled, like a desire to know.
Yeah.
First to know, to learn who, how, where.
In Ibadan. I didn't know many collectors in Ibadan.
And at that time, it was, first I started with the crafts.
Yes, yeah.
And then
Ibadan is
by going to places like
Oshogo,
was near, to Ife. So I started learning and meeting people and discovering things.
Who are the fascinating people you met?
Collectors in general are fascinating.
What about the
people
and
artists?
craft people?
And I have a good number. I remember, now I'm trying to remember his name.
Yeah.
A carver.
Yeah.
There in Ibadan. He wasn't in the list of artists.
Yeah, not the Lamidi Kapakeyes of...
No. He was a carver.
Yeah.
A great guy. And he came from Benin, and now I don't remember. Probably he will still be there in a little shop near Adamashimba, after Mokola. And I used to go and meet him and meet other people. And so little by little, I started discovering things. Discovering for me, not that they were new, but for me, they were new.
Yeah.
And then I like to read. I started reading what I could get, not much. As you know, there's so little.
I looked at some of your blogs from way back on the Nigerian art and the artists.
Yes, that was a few years later.
Yeah.
When after talking or visiting, because one thing that I did from the moment I came to Lagos was visiting artists and listening to them.
Right.
I think one thing is to see an artwork. A different thing is to be with the artist and in a relaxed way, listening without pressure. They soon realized, perhaps at the beginning they saw an expatriate and an architect, and they thought, possible client here. Soon they realized that I didn't have the money, that I was not
you have some amazing art. I've seen some of your private stuff.
I developed a friendship with them.
Relationship.
And listening to them.
Yeah.
And talking, in some cases, I could challenge them a little bit. Not because I am an expert, not because I know much, but I could see some things. And I could challenge them and say, you could do better, I think. Have you thought about this? What are you doing this? Have you explored this? I'm not an artist. I couldn't tell them, do this or do that.
Yeah.
That's not my role, and it would have been wrong for me to tell them.
Yeah,
but,
of course. Yeah.
But to challenge them, yes. Say, are you sure you want to do this? Don't you think that you could? And then trying to push them to go a little bit beyond the commercial, to explore new things, to be a little bit more daring in some cases. So I developed real friendships with artists, with collectors. So around, I think it was 2009, 2008, I said to myself, it would be good to try to articulate how collectors, Nigerian collectors, collect.
And how do they collect?
They collect well, every collector is different, so it's difficult to establish a general pattern. But I identify some patterns. For instance, that was more than 10 years ago, so things have changed, and new collectors with new ideas have come. But at that time, the main collectors, most of them were collecting Nigerian art. Most of them were collecting contemporary Nigerian art.
Right.
Most of them were collecting figurative art, representational art.
Not abstract.
Very few were interested in abstract. Very few were interested really in ideas beyond the object.
Right.
And I was nobody, or I'm nobody to tell them whether this is right or wrong. But I saw a pattern.
Yeah.
Few of them, and this was something that surprised me, very few of them, and Femi Akinsanya is a wonderful exception, as he has done so well. Few of them were collecting traditional Nigerian.
Yes, because Femi has a fantastic traditional.
So, few others.
Yeah.
And a few pieces. Prince. A few. But their main focus was not on that. In the case of Femi, it was, and he has been doing it for decades consistently. And in an enlightened way, systematically, collecting seriously. But this surprised me.
Why did it surprise you?
Because I would have thought, say, a Yoruba collector, you have such a wealth of tradition that is so rich. Wouldn't you be interested?
Why do you think that was? Why do you think they were not?
Well, perhaps it was a reaction of and this is not a judgment on anybody or anything. Perhaps it is because they saw it, or some of them saw it as backward, as Western modernity, as something that is. And I think now younger collectors are looking at it differently now.
Yes, I've seen that.
So this is okay, but that was the way it was
in those days.
And things have changed. The breadth of interest of collectors now is significant. I think it's important, and this is good. But still, most collectors continue collecting figurative art. There are quite a few who are now collecting beyond Nigerian borders. People at that time, it was mainly Ghana. A few of them, because of personal links, were collecting from Ghana. Now, some collectors are collecting well beyond West Africa.
And Morocco.
So,
some of those as well.
Also, there were less avenues for collecting. A few years ago, before Tokeni started Artex, you had few avenues.
That's true. That's true.
The auction, Art House.
Art House,
was doing.
Is that still going on?
In the past couple of years, she has not
done it. Yeah.
But I hope one day, because this helps and is needed.
I went.
Rahman has done some, but it's different from a professional.
And something to have in the calendar,
So
every year,
these 2-3 auctions organized by Kavita every year were very instrumental to bringing art to some people who will not look for art. Some people who perhaps will come there to the auction, because they wanted to meet other people, because it was glamorous to be there, nice and good place.
Yes, and someone said,
nice things, good people.
Decorate a room.
So, but then discover some things, and that was the beginning. And whether they came simply because it was trendy to come there or not, but some of them have ended up becoming serious collectors and discovering many things. So that was very good.
So how did you get involved with the setting up the museum? I mean, if you haven't been to the Pan-African University Yemisi Shyllon Museum of Art, I mean, I don't know where you've been, but it is really... I love the building, first of all, because it was a clever use of space and light. Because you get some bits of light coming in, and then the positioning of some of the artworks will just get you. And it felt cool all the time. Did you design that building?
Yes, I did.
Wow. So I hope you go back to architecture.
I'm still doing a little bit.
Yeah. So how did you get into that? And
to the museum, it was perhaps a confluence of interest. It was not something that I had planned. And say, one day I want to build a museum. No, it wasn't like this. It just came more naturally. To start this project.
Were you approached?
No.
Or you actually thought this would be a good idea?
Some years before we started this museum, I wanted to help people learn and have access to more Nigerian art in a way that it was less commercial. Because all the avenues were commercials, galleries, auction. So I proposed to the university, probably must have been, I don't remember now, at the beginning, 2001, 2002, 2003, I don't remember which year. I proposed to them to do a virtual museum. We couldn't do a physical museum. So I told them, why don't we set up a virtual museum?
Wow.
I have access to collections. I have access to artists. I can get images and permission to reproduce. It will not be so difficult to put together a few thousand images that people in Nigeria or outside Nigeria who want to know a little bit more about Nigerian art can come there, click, and at least have an opening.
Yes.
It's not the same thing.
looking at the real thing or an image there on your screen. But it was an opening. So we set it up.
With the
virtual,
university?
yes. At that time, it was called Pan-African.
Yeah.
Later on, it became Pan-Atlantic. I think
Okay.
at that time, it was the Virtual Museum of Nigerian Art at Pan-African University.
Oh, wow, that's
I
a
think.
mouthful.
No, the Virtual Museum.
At.
And we set it up. We created a website.
Oh, wow.
With the help of a couple of people. And it worked for some time.
Right.
So this was like a beginning of what I wanted to do, to help people learn about something that I have seen, not that I have discovered. Things were there before it was my personal discovery. For me, it was a discovery. These things were there. For many people, were the day-to-day. So I wanted people to know about it. So that was the beginning. This grew. Then, when the university moved to the new campus,
Right.
they asked me, as an architect and project manager, whether I could design the master plan. Before building anything, say, can we design a master plan, a physical master plan of the university? And then to do that, I had to ask them, but what do you want to have in this university?
Yeah.
And then they say, we want to have a faculty of this, we want to have a Senate building, we want to have accommodation for students, we want to have this, we want to have sport facilities. And
did you suggest the museum?
Then I said, and why? and many, especially in the US, in continental Europe, it's not like this.
No,
Few universities have an art museum.
Yeah.
In US, it's different. Many universities have an art museum. So I said, why don't we put it in the master plan? It doesn't mean
you have to do it now.
You have to build it now. But you already have
clever.
You already have a space, and it's there in your master plan that one day there will be a museum.
Yeah.
Then a conversation started with several collectors. That time, or a little later, I was working with Samuel Agbayu for the first book. This book
private.
Because he supported it very much. And this came in many conversations, how nice it will be with Prince, with other collectors, how nice it will be if one day there could be a museum. So the idea started
to grow
and to take shape, then with Sammy, then with Prince, till one day I said, okay, what about this? And there was one day that Samuel Agbayu, Prince Shyllon, and I coincided in Johannesburg. We have gone for the fair, the three of us, and we have dinner.
Is that serendipity or God or fate?
I don't know.
Okay.
And we coincided. We had dinner together.
All
three of us.
Three of you.
The wife of Sami Alagbayu, Fumi, was there also. So it was the four of us.
Yeah.
So we were there, and we were talking about many things, and the idea of the museum came. Both of them said, yes, this has to be done, blah, blah, blah. Both of them were thinking and have been thinking about what to do with their collection.
Yes.
This is something that many collectors... So, both of them said, yes, perhaps I will be ready to to contribute.
Yeah.
Then, we continue discussing. Unfortunately, Sami died. Then Prince took it. He sent a proposal to the university saying, I'm ready to do this.
Wow.
I'm ready to give some artworks and some money. The university studied it. I remember I went to the vice chancellor. At that time, it was Professor Elegido. Professor Elegido, this is here. What do you think? And I remember very well how he put it. Say, no way. No way. Because we don't have it in our strategic plan. We don't have the resources.
The funding.
We don't have the expertise. We don't have the money. We don't have a faculty of art. This is wonderful, but not now.
Oh.
So the answer is no.
Wow. But
then, say, we'll come back. So talking with Prince Shyllon, say, what can we do? Then Prince put it in writing, sent a formal letter telling the university, yes, I'm ready. Then the university started thinking, but still they said no. No, because having the artworks and we are extremely grateful to Prince Shyllon for this.
Yeah.
But having the artworks and even having the building doesn't make a museum. You have to run it. You have to. And then at the back of my mind, the idea of getting more involved on that came. It also came at a time when I was quite tired of being an architect.
Yeah.
Architecture is wonderful when you think of designing and creating, but the reality is very different. The reality is writing letters to quantity surveyors, to contractors.
You have an artistic soul.
No. And when there is, like now, there is a leakage, and the first reaction of the client is calling the architect.
Yes.
In that building that you did, we have a leakage. And my first reaction is telling him, sorry, call the contractor. I designed a building without leakages. I didn't design leakages.
Yeah.
If there is a leakage, it's that somebody has done a bad job. Don't call me. But still, I had to go there. And then something has been poorly done. And then battle with electricians, plumbers, tilers, painters. Tired.
But the finish of the Pan-African Museum is incredible. I mean, it's not flashy, but I like the simplicity of it and the simple materials used.
I think through my many mistakes, I have learned a few things.
Yes.
And now, if I had to design something, I think it would be simpler and less prone.
But I also like the ventilation, because there's a lot of thought that's gone into the ventilation.
Now, for me, as an architect, the main consideration is light. First, number one is light. We architects work with materials, but our main tool is immaterial. It's light.
It's light, yeah.
You go, for instance, to the LBS building, and there the main thing is light. And if some things work well, it's because of the light.
I hope you like our building.
Yes, I like light. Has the capacity
to lift,
of create spaces.
Yes.
So that's why I come sometimes to some houses, some places.
So heavy
and then first you see that they have put thick curtains.
Yeah, I know.
And that they are drawn.
Yeah.
During
the daytime.
And then they switch on the fluorescent light of the light.
But with the electricity bill now, I'm sure they'll all regret it.
It pains me to say.
With NEPA bills now, they'll be regretting. So is this when you went to do your PhD? To segue into art?
So when I finally, there from the university, I said, but who is going to run this museum? Even if we were to agree, who is going to run it? We don't have anybody. So I thought, perhaps this gives me an excuse to abandon architecture and start something else, but I don't have. I have passion and interested, but I don't know anything. Really, I have been at it for years, but I don't really know. I have to learn something. I know that even if you do a doctorate, you don't learn much. But at least, you can say, I spent some time and somebody checked and somebody forced me to be a little bit more rigorous, to study. You knew the number of books I studied.
Oh, wow. Did you move back to Spain or you did it?
No, I did it here. Luckily, it's a research-based PhD.
Right.
And the thesis director was a professor there in Spain who from the beginning told me, my expertise on Nigerian art is limited. You know it. Okay. If you are ready, I'm ready to work with you and learn with you. She told me, and I love that.
Oh, that's
I'm
great.
ready because so it can be a process. And she told me, I can help you in learning to do research, in learning to learn.
Yeah.
This, I think, I can.
That is more useful, I
checking
think,
that you are rigorous, in forcing you to be rigorous, in pushing you to explore new things, in asking you questions. On that, I can help. And she did.
Oh, wow.
And I read and I studied a lot. Going everywhere I could get. The number of books, I couldn't afford new books, all the new books I wanted. I remember for several years, I was buying books, second-hand books. I would go to Amazon, say, I want this book. And I found, it's here, second-hand.
Yeah.
So I have agreed with a friend in London, I will order it from here, go to his, send it to his house, and he used to fly regularly from London. And every time he came, he will bring 4 or 5 books that I have ordered.
But I've noticed something about you, Jess. You're quietly, I wouldn't say effective. The word is more than effective, but you have an iron will. It's not obvious when we first meet you, but from thinking I think it would be good to have a museum, and you had a lot of no, to having this amazing museum there. It takes more than a little bit of wishful thinking.
It takes, it's like with the PhD.
Yeah.
I said, I'm working because I had to earn a living, because I am involved in many other things that are more important, but I want to do this because
it's prioritization.
And I'm going to do it in 36 months.
Wow.
So I spoke with the director. I said, is it possible? He said, yes, you are ready to work. It can be done. You can do a proper PhD, but that will demand, I don't remember now. She told me, budget at least, I don't remember, it was 1,000, 2,000, I don't remember how many hours. Are you ready to put them? Are you ready to put them? I said, well, let me think. I said, I'm ready to put this number of thousands of hours. So this means that I had to put this number of hours, these hundreds of hours per month, or 100 and something. This means that every week I had to put an average, I don't remember now, if it was 20 or 30 hours on this, from where I'm going to get 20 or 30 hours per week. And okay, I adjusted, I cut on some things.
Oh, did you sleep at all?
Less, but so I said, if I had to put 25 hours per week for this, I'm going to do it. Sometimes I felt like putting 25 hours. Sometimes I didn't feel like putting 25 hours. That's why I said the iron will. So effectively, I finished it in a little bit less than 36 months.
Wow. You finished in less than 36 months?
So, but I enjoyed it a lot. So I don't regret it. I'm thinking of doing another one. Just for the sake, not that I need it. No, I'm joking. But I enjoyed it so much.
You're the curator
of
that museum. When you took me round, the backstory of every single picture there was in your head. I think that was what blew me away. Because it's one thing to go around the museum, but having you there, when you say, oh, that came from this person's collection and that the artist did this, it was just so enlightening because it added a little depth to my superficial knowledge of what you have there and what I see and what I could enjoy. The depth of knowledge, I don't know how you're going to put all that knowledge. I know it's in your books, but I think there has to be some way of somebody else to take us around who has, if you could just remove all your brain and give it to somebody else to do that.
There are quite a good number of
succession
people out there doing
not
only at the museum, right? Outside. There are people doing very well and working hard. Yeah. People who are knowledgeable, people who are serious, people who are working and producing. So
no, what I was thinking is like when you go to some of these museums abroad, each picture, you can click on something and it will tell you the story of it. So it's like there's an institutional memory for each picture. It's a lot of work. And I know there's so much for you to do, but that would be such an amazing thing.
We are doing it slowly.
Yes.
We are creating we have started with the major works in the collection. Yes. Creating information sheets for each one of them. Yeah. So it's just
you do
a double-sided A4 to begin with. We want to have the knowledge. So people that are at the museum are working now. We are working in creating a resource. So on this work, we explain from where it comes, the artist, the context. Some ideas. We don't want to tell you what to see in their work, what to think, but we want to give you a support to provide those coming. So this little by little, we are putting it online. Now, we hope there will be other resources that will be created. This is part of what we are doing, but first you need to be passionate about these things.
Yes. I mean, well, you've got
So if you are passionate and you care about about people, this is the most important thing. If I want to offer, you come to the museum and I want to offer you something of value to you, and I want to help you discover something I have discovered and enjoy something I have enjoyed and learn something I have learned, and I care about you, and then I will try to transmit this to you, and I will try to tell you, look at this. Do you know that this? You know that.
But it's your passion that translates. It's like a teacher. You remember the teachers that are most passionate. They might be tough on you, but the teachers that are passionate about their subjects are the ones that children remember. And when I went around the museum, I could see your eyes light up when you were not just describing the space, but each work. And then we were talking about the Nsuka artists, how their work was more 3D, and it helped me to look at the works slightly more differently. And I know I'll always...
But this is in all professions, I think. You are passionate about something. And in this case, it's not something for us. It's something for you, for the visitors. Yeah. We don't like the word visitors.
Guests.
We don't have a word.
There's no word, it's a guest.
Because every person is a person.
Yeah.
Is one or two, but they are individuals. And part of the ethos of the way this university where we are is an idea of our work as service. We are there to offer a service. In the case of a museum, the service is through art. In the case of a lecturer, it's through teaching. And in the case of an administrator, you serve by, in the case of a maintenance fellow, is by keeping the place running well. In the case of the gardeners, the service is... So if everybody in the university sees her or his work as a service to the others, it doesn't matter whether you are the vice-chancellor or the gardener. Both of them are important for the university. Yeah. You have a wonderful vice-chancellor, but you have people who do not care about the grounds, you are not going to have a great university. So the gardener is important in the university.
The groundsman is the most important person,
so
I think.
This is something that we have very clear. And this is for everybody. Everybody is important. Yeah. And this is the way this university is.
No, I liked it. So tell me about the art scene in Nigeria. You've got such an amazing overview. How would you describe it at the moment? Vibrant, growing? Or how would you describe the art scene?
I think we are at a transitional moment.
Right.
For decades, I think recent decades, art has been mainly about the commercial side of art. Art is being creative, trying to do, but having to survive, selling art. Yeah. And then the system being, in a way, not control, perhaps control is not the right word, but being influenced very strongly by collectors, who in some cases would determine what goes in, what goes out, what goes up, what goes down. They were like the gatekeepers, the arbiters, the judges. Yeah. The market was the judge of quality. This is good because it sells well. Yeah. Or some people will think it sells well, so it must be good.
Yeah.
But that's not the reality.
No.
There are things that sell well, and this is my opinion and the opinion of others, perhaps do not have much quality. But they become trendy, and this happens in fashion, this happens in music, this happens...
Tell you, if I see another painting of the Fulani lady with the thing on her head, or the herdsman, I will die, or the downfall buses in Lagos, I will die. Because my eyes just glaze over now. They're all doing the same. I don't even see them anyway.
But there are so many artists doing the same thing. Yeah. First, because they don't know, some of them do not know better. But also because things are very tough for everybody. I understand. Course, yeah. Before I was a little bit stronger in my views, saying, how can an artist be doing this? Yeah. This has been done I say, this man or this woman has to take care of her family.
Yeah, they have to eat.
Has to eat. And the people who are buying are
That's
the
what
ones
they
who
want.
a decoration. A piece of decoration for their offices, for their hotels, for their Now, and I understand that this person has to survive and is doing this. And less strong than I was
of course.
And less, a little bit more carefully in criticizing.
Yeah.
It's true. This is not going to take us to the new. This is not going to move Nigerian art forward.
Yeah.
It's looking back but now there are a few out there who are looking beyond that.
Okay. Who are the artists I should look out for?
No, I will not mention names. Names.
Come on.
No,
Tell me
there are,
secretly. Which one should I be looking? I can still afford to collect them.
If you knew the number of times that somebody...
Who should I collect?
For instance, somebody say, which work should I buy that will appreciate substantially in a few years?
Can pay my mortgage in 3 years.
If I have a crystal ball that tells me that, I will be the one investing on that.
Come on. Which artists should we, not necessarily looking for investment, which ones thrill you? Which are the ones that are thrilling you?
Now, artists that have something to say.
Yeah, like?
Artists who are trying to go beyond the obvious, beyond the object. Are just artists who are immersed in deeper and broader narratives, more global. Yeah. What are the issues there? Well, you mentioned the canoe and the palm tree and the danfos and the... It's not the issue. There is no issue here to begin with. It's simply... But it doesn't mean that it's not nice. Some of them are nice.
Some of them, the colors match my furniture.
And some of them are skillfully done. Yeah. So there is skill. But the ones that attract me most are the ones that attract not only my eyes,
but your intellect.
But my mind. Yeah. And the ones that are able to open windows into something. Let's say, for instance, we got in the museum a wonderful donation just a few weeks ago from Anthony Asekwo. Okay. The digital. Piece. Yeah. It's a work on the Biafra War. Oh, wow. It's pretty strong. Oh, wow. Pretty. It's like one of these classical European paintings, war paintings, with some heroic figures. Yeah. Some other people suffering the fire. It's strong that you see then. Yeah. And it's not terribly pleasant because the scene are serious. But this opens a window there, a dialogue. Say, wow, what is really this? Is this? And it's like when you look at the Guernica. Yeah. And the war there. I think Spain and the suffering. Actually sort of kept that Spanish war more in people's minds for longer. Yes. And many others, of battles, or of heroic figures. In this painting, in this work that was created digitally. It's very interesting. It's the first digital work we got there. It was created digitally. Right. And then, what we got to exhibit in the museum is a print of the digital work. Yeah. But originally, it was not a painting done on canvas. Now it's on a canvas, but it's printed on canvas. It started out digitally. So it started digitally. But this work opens, and we have in the collection quite a few there in the museum of works that are also open to interpretation. We just opened an exhibition on Saturday, and one of the artists is about the North. Yeah. The title is Arewa, because we're talking about with an interrogation mark. Yeah. And one of the works is by an artist, is Aisha Augie. Okay, Aisha Augie. Photographer, but it's more than simple photography. Right. And there are a couple of works there that she brought, that the curator selected for the exhibition, and that now she has donated to the museum. Oh, how lovely. And they're very open. You can say, what is this work about? You can interpret what it's about many things. Right. And I have thought of And then the other day, she came for the opening, and she was talking about this, about that, and did you notice this and that? So, wow, you are opening windows for me to think about
added
issues.
more depth.
And this work is not only that it looks nice. This work has more than and there is more than being nice.
So you have renewed respect for it.
So I have a greater respect. Yes, yes, and the same thing. And all great artworks have that capacity to help you think, be surprised, enter into something else. More ordinary common words is you get what you see, and that's it. You see a palm tree, it's nice, and that's it. But what?
Yeah. Well, we're going to get to the bit that I really like. What is left on your bucket list? What would you like to do?
Well, many things.
I know. But what is that one thing that you say, if I do this, I'll die happy?
To do more things, not that it is new thing, but to do something else that has a greater social impact.
Right.
It's about people.
Okay, not just art, not just designing.
Even something more important than that. It's about helping people learn about life, about what is happiness, about the meaning of life.
How would you do that?
This could be through a foundation.
Right.
This could be through organizing some courses. This could be one-on-one.
Yeah.
To be a mentor.
Right.
Or not because I know more. No, it's not. It's not about helping, teaching people. No, I have nobody to teach anything to anybody.
Yeah.
But to help people discover or to learn, yes. Together with other people, let's think about this. What is, say, I see, so especially young people, many, rightly they are concerned about success.
And survival.
And that's right.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong on that.
Yeah.
But I wish I could find more who are thinking beyond that. Not that they don't want to survive
it could
and
be
succeed.
A luxury at the moment. That's the problem.
But the people who are going to change the world are those
people
who are thinking
ideas.
of changing the world, not simply of making it.
But you see, what people are saying is that the system that is taking advantage, or the people who are benefiting from this system, want to keep people distracted with minutiae, with day-to-day survival. If you are distracted by that, you're not thinking of how to change the world because you just want to survive. So if they distract you with inanities of how to eat, you don't have the headspace to think of, let me think beyond immediate,
Yes, but the history of humankind, there is countless examples of people who were not thinking about where to eat.
When middle classes.
No.
It's usually the middle classes that make the changes.
But also people who were passionate and who were visionary and say many great people in history. Great.
Yeah.
And for instance, very, let's say, Teresa of Avila.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She was a nun in a convent in rural, poor Spain. She could hardly eat, or they could hardly eat. She changed the world in many ways.
Yeah.
Because and it's an example for me. Here you have. There are other people who have influenced the world positively. And so
is that the person you admire?
That's something I would like to see. What can I do? What can I do that has
impact,
value?
Yeah. A value.
And it's not just creating a huge foundation that will... Perhaps it's just one-on-one conversation. Can I have more one-on-one conversation with people?
What can we do?
And can I be somebody who sparks in the mind of those persons some questions, and they decide to go a little bit beyond? Perhaps if that will be a real... So
that's on your bucket list?
Yes.
That's the one thing. You don't think you've done that already?
I have been working on that.
Yeah.
But I realized I could have done much more and much better, in a much better way. So I'm thinking, I'm not looking much at the past.
Yeah, it's the future.
I think most people, my generation, are thinking of retirement, and they think of what they did, and they... No, I'm thinking of what can I do? What should I do? Okay. I think, I don't know if I answer your question, but it's not well defined, but it's an aspiration.
Yeah.
It's something that gives meaning.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think this gives meaning to my life. Why am I here on earth for?
That's a Catholic question, isn't it? When you're doing
this is a human question.
It's one of the things they ask when you're doing your catechism.
But
who made me? God made me. Why did God make me? Why did God make me? What am I here for?
What am I here for?
Yeah.
But this applies to everybody, anywhere, anytime.
Okay. Sunday morning, church or chill?
I think, with all due respect, this is the wrong question.
I know, because but I want to hear.
Because it can be, and at least in my case, it's both.
Yes.
You can, I know what you mean by church, and I know that if you can have an interior life, you can have a relation with God. That's what you can go to. But you can also talk with God
in your house, in your bedroom.
And if you are unable to talk with God at home, you will be unable, I think, to talk with God. Church. You may go to a place, a church. You may attend a service.
You might be physically present, but you're not mentally present.
So it's a continuum.
Yeah. But do you go
it's a presence.
To church?
I go church every day.
Okay.
Every day.
That's fantastic, yeah.
And that gives me strength in many ways. But it's not that this is the place.
Yeah.
I think I am a museum director. I am an architect. If I am unable to find God while being an architect, dealing with electricians, plumbers, contractors, then I will not find him there in the quiet church. So
but going there does something for you.
Of course.
It gives you
So I don't think it's either or.
It's both.
I would like to be able to do both.
Yeah. You can chill in church. Okay. Excellent. Who do you admire most?
I admire a driver that I used to have some time ago.
Right. What was it about?
Who was, he had only daughters, 6 daughters. He didn't have and that pained him.
It hurt him?
Not that he had 6 daughters. He was very happy, and he was, but I remember he was a pious, or he is still alive, a pious man, and he was Catholic, or he's Catholic, and we were to go somewhere. I would go, and I could see him there, and then bring his rosary and pray.
Oh,
and he will not. Sometimes he will complain a little bit, but he was a patient person. And I always thought that I have a lot to learn from this man. In many ways, I would like to be.
What was it? Was it the
patience?
Was it the inner peace?
The inner peace. Some things that you don't find. Not only the piety, though that was an example.
The piety probably brought out the patience and the other stuff.
He was a good man.
Yeah,
he is a good man. I haven't seen him now for some time. He retired, but there are sometimes some people nobody will know.
Yeah.
Them. And you see here there is quality in this human person because he's understanding. And you find them everywhere. The same way that you find some people who are a little bit nasty, who are everywhere. But who are the models? Those ordinary people, not the big figures that everybody talks. It's true. There are some wonderful people in the history of humankind.
But they're the unsung heroes.
But these ordinary people who are doing their job.
Yeah.
And they are doing it well.
Without complaining in this environment.
Sometimes complain. I think sometimes we have to complain. But who are there? This is what I would like that at the end of my life, somebody says, but yes, okay, he wasn't the best architect, but he worked, and he worked hard. And he was respectful, and sometimes I am not. And he was patient, and sometimes I am not. And he was considerate, and sometimes I am not.
Yeah, but in the main.
But so these are the heroes. Yeah. They are there. Yeah, and they are there everywhere.
I like that, because usually you hear, oh, Mandela, oh, Madame, it's over. But I like that, the simpleness, because it's more of the characteristics of the person. And you found this in this person. Oh, fantastic. So, are you a morning person or a night person?
Lately, I have been a morning and night person.
How many hours a day are you working? Are you doing another PhD?
No. But no, I get up early by 6 something. I am up.
Okay. Then you go to church?
I go.
Yeah.
I devote a little bit of time to reflect.
Yeah.
To
meditate.
I'm fortunate that I can have some time of quiet. For instance, the day I go to the museum, I go very early to beat the traffic.
Like what time?
By 6, we are on the road.
Okay.
And then it's dark. I'm not driving. I put the ear on. There is silence. Oh, it's a place. And I'm privileged. I can be there for 1 hour. It takes us 1 hour. Silence. I can reflect. I can pray. I can think of other things. So I'm privileged.
Yeah. So that headspace, you have that headspace.
Yes.
In the morning.
that to start the day like this.
Yeah.
I think I'm privileged to when I'm not.
And then at night you.
No, I don't go. God has given me some things. One of them is that I can sleep anywhere, anytime.
So bedtime is about 9 o'clock?
No.
Midnight?
No, 10:30.
Oh, that's big civilized.
It depends. It depends.
If you're out.
Sometimes, if I'm reading something and I'm reading now a book on
What?
On happiness.
Oh,
It's by Edward Brooks. He's a professor in Harvard.
Okay.
Specialized on happiness. His course is on happiness.
Oh, wow.
The scientific study of happiness. And he wrote a book, several books. And this one is, he wrote it with Oprah.
Oh, Oprah Winfrey.
Well, he wrote it.
Okay.
Though it's signed by both of them.
Yes. Okay.
And
she facilitated it.
And she says a few things there.
Yeah.
And he says, happiness, that's his opinion, and I think, is based on 4 things.
Right.
The 4 enablers of happiness are family.
Okay.
Work.
Okay.
He says faith.
Okay.
And friendships.
Okay.
Or he puts it in a different order. Friendships first.
Yeah.
Family, work, and faith.
Does the order in which they come matter?
That's the way he puts it.
Okay.
And I think I don't know if.
Yeah.
But perhaps it's not, it's simply. And and he has plenty of ideas and suggestions, and enjoying it very much sometimes.
Fantastic.
And when I read it, the first thing that comes to my mind is, how can I tell some people about this?
But how do you get to hear about it?
Well, through.
Were you looking for happiness?
I always look. No. I'm looking. I have read other books by this fellow.
Oh, right.
I read
a lot. Okay.
So since the beginning of the year,
you read how many books?
No, I don't want to
60
boast, but
no?
I think I have read quite a few, and I always read 2 or 3 at the same time.
Wow!
Because sometimes a novel is in order.
Gosh.
Sometimes it's a more serious book.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like 3 days ago, I came across a reference to a book written 3 years ago on the social impact of museums. I said, This is it.
Yeah.
So luckily I got it online. I got it.
Yeah.
So I have it there. But I'm reading this one on happiness, and I'm reading a couple of novels. And then a friend of mine who is a professor of sociology in Spain sent a list, say, a suggestion of some books for summer. 4 or 5 of them said, I have to read it. And then I read a magazine called First Things.
Okay, never heard.
And a few days ago, again, said, reading list for summer.
For summer.
And again, I said, wow, here there's 2 or 3.
But where do you find the time for all of them?
No, I don't find the time for all of them. That's the problem. But I wish I had 100 hours, but not only to read, but to do many other things. But anyway.
So what are you listening to? What's your favorite kind of music at the moment?
I was in Spain a few weeks ago, and And I was with my brother-in-law who likes music a lot. And I don't know, and we were there. I said, let me put some music. And he put somebody called Luz Casal.
Okay, Luz.
It's she has been at it, and I had not even heard of her.
Right. What sort of music?
And said, it's a very personal music.
Right.
She composes the lyrics, so very personal.
Okay.
But very powerful, very good. Luz Casal.
Yeah.
So I went to Spotify.
Yeah.
And it was a discovery for me.
Oh, wow.
So in my ignorance, when I told him, sorry, I had never heard, he said, how can it be? Where have you been? So, okay, so sorry. So this past day, I have few times, normally on Sundays, if I can find a little bit of time,
you play
while I'm reading, to sit down and listen, but during the week, I rarely have the chance. But
so Luz Casal, I will check that out.
It's in Spanish, but...
Do you have time to watch anything at all? Or?
But it has to be watching what I want to watch, not what they are giving me.
Yeah. What would you like?
So from time to... I also have my lists.
Okay.
And I follow... so I select films.
Yeah, what film?
From time to time.
What was the latest one that you've liked that you said?
I don't even remember which one. But I also it depends.
You watch
in
on
the past weeks,
Netflix?
let me tell you something. I like football very much.
Oh, wow.
In the past weeks, all my watching time, so I haven't watched a film for I don't know how many days.
Spain did well.
And before that, we are playing the final on Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Did you see that 16-year-old boy? Yamin. Gosh, I don't know how he does it.
So I haven't watched any film now. And the previous weeks I traveled and I wasn't. So I haven't watched a film now.
Okay.
Probably for close to 2 months.
That's fine.
But when I have a little bit of time, I will try to download or find one. But it has to be something that I want to watch. This film.
Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
In a few words.
3. Mm-hmm. That takes some discipline. Yeah.
An impatient. What come to my mind are the negative things. Not kind enough.
I think you're tenacious. Determined. I don't know what the word is.
I'm passionate.
Passionate, yes.
About things.
Impatient, passionate.
I wish I were more caring.
You are caring, surely.
I wish I were more caring.
But you are caring. So I would say impatient.
Sometimes I am not. So I wish I were more.
Impatient.
So it has
passionate.
It all has to do with people.
Right.
In the relations with people.
Right.
I wish I had more friends. Now that I'm reading this book and I see, I wish...
You've made 2 today.
Yes. Oh, I was reading yesterday, was saying, really friends, if you tell me that you have more than 10, they are acquaintances.
Yeah.
They are colleagues. They are people you are in good terms. And a friend, to be a friend of somebody is a strong relationship.
It's a strong relationship.
You really have to care. You have to know. You have to have spent time. You have to... So to develop, a friendship has to be nurtured.
It has to have depth.
It has to grow.
Well. Has to have
I hope
depth.
We can become friends.
We can. Yeah.
So I wish
friends that check on you.
I wish I had more friends.
Wow.
Something I regret that I have few friends. I have plenty in my phone.
Acquaintances.
Here I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people I can call.
Yeah.
Oh, how are you doing? How this?
Well, that's important too.
It's important. But now I'm rediscovering friendship.
Okay.
And I hope if we talk in 1 year from now.
Yes, it's a bet.
Okay.
Friends for life. Well, thank you so much, Jess. I really enjoyed our time together. If people want to get hold of you, where do they do that?
And out there, you can find me in social media. Just Jess Castellote, and you will find me.
On Instagram?
On Instagram,
okay.
Facebook.
Do you answer your Instagram?
Some things I answer. Yes, and this morning, for instance,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people asking me in LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So I
Okay, you're on LinkedIn.
answered yes to at least 3 or 4 this
On
morning.
LinkedIn.
And I said, and I ignore 8 or 10. Somebody I don't know at all, and I don't.
Yeah.
So it's easy to find me
on LinkedIn.
You just Google Jess Castellote.
Yeah.
Or at the museum. It's easy, I'm sure.
Thank you so much. And next stop will be at the museum soon.